Less than 7 hours after Taylor Swift announced the title of her 12th album, Travis Kelce is gracing the cover of GQ magazine with a cover story diving into football, his next career move and life dating a superstar. The Kansas City Chiefs tight end opened up about the blinding spotlight of being Swift's +1 and how he's navigating the pressure. In the more than 6,000-worded article written by Simon & Schuster publisher Sean Manning, "When there is not a camera on us, we're just two people that are in love," Kelce said. "It can be perceived as something else because of how much it is talked about and how much we are tracked whenever we do go out, but I would say that it's as normal of. It happened very organically even though from a media standpoint it was being tracked. It still happened very organically." Kelce said one of the most refreshing parts of dating Swift has been realizing how similar their worlds are. "I hadn't experienced somebody in the same shoes as me, having a partner who understands the scrutiny, understands the ups and downs of being in front of millions," he said. "That was very relatable, seeing how exhausted she would get after shows. She may not think of herself as an athlete. She will never tell anyone that she is an athlete. But I've seen what she goes through. I've seen the amount of work that she puts on her body, and it's mind-blowing." Kelce and Swift have dated since the summer of 2023, which Swift revealed began when Travis very adorably put me on blast on his podcast, which I thought was metal as hell, she said in her Time magazine Person of the Year article. "We started hanging out right after that. So we actually had a significant amount of time that no one knew, which I'm grateful for, because we got to know each other," Swift said in Time. "By the time I went to that first game, the Chiefs vs. Bears game in September 2023, where she watched from a suite, we were a couple. I think some people think that they saw our first date at that game. We would never be psychotic enough to hard launch a first date." Kelce followed her to 14 concert stops along the Eras tour, and she changed the "Karma" lyrics every night he attended to. "Karma is the guy on the Chiefs coming straight home to me." In the GQ article, Kelce called the show "electric" and said he's amazed by the singer-songwriter's stamina. "To go out on a stage, on a computer, essentially, for 3 hours," he says. "The Eras tour floor is literally, I've seen underneath that thing. It is a football field-sized computer. You take that into Singapore, where it is scorching hot, and all of a sudden you're feeling the fumes from the computer and you're feeling the fumes from the sun and you're doing a show for 3 hours with a lot of energy, bringing it every single song. That is arguably more exhausting than how much I put in on a Sunday, and she's doing it 3, 4, 5 days in a row. Whenever I get in front of a crowd, I feel like I've got to be like, whoa. Like, excited, bringing the energy. Then I saw that coolness and that calmness and that relatability that she is so good at presenting. I really grabbed that. Like, man, I can use that side of entertainment as well. It's not just always being the guy that brings the energy and creates these exciting moments." I remind him of an interview he once did in which he said his ideal partner would share some of the same qualities as his mom. Are there any similarities between the two of them? I ask, "Their kindness, their genuineness, their ability to say hello to everyone in the room," he says. "Their ability to show love and support no matter what. And on top of that, their work ethic. I saw my mother reach goals that she had set for herself, go from being a teller to working all the way up in the KeyBank building." Here, thinking of his mom's determination and perseverance, Kelce gets a bit emotional and pauses briefly to collect himself. "I've seen Taylor do the exact same thing of setting goals for herself and exceeding the expectations and really captivating the world in that regard." In documentaries about the Kelce brothers, the family has been open about how Donna and Ed kept their marriage together for the sake of Travis and Jason, finally divorcing after 28 years when Travis was in college. "They were always the ultimate partners in terms of being there for us as kids," Kelce had told me. "There was no division in terms of anger at each other. I think the romance of it all might have just kind of faded, being so focused on their careers and raising a family. It's probably hard for parents to keep that romance, especially when you've got kids that are into fucking everything, you know? My brother was into so much more stuff than me. He was a musician, he was doing all this theater stuff, outside of just sports. I'm doing all these sports, 2 sports every season. So there's so much shit going on. I had asked Kelce how visible the strain in his parents' marriage was growing up, and he recalled just one small moment. We always had the calendar on the refrigerator of everything, and it said 25th anniversary on it. Might have been 15. I don't want to get this wrong. More so than at any other point in our conversation, Kelce deliberated. Scrupulously, as if he wasn't quite sure whether he should reveal this memory, and if he was going to do so then he wanted to be certain he wasn't mischaracterizing it in any way. I don't want to get this wrong, he repeated. It had to be around 20. Let's say 20. I remember seeing it and I was like, oh, it's their anniversary. I wonder what they're going to do. And it was kind of just another day almost. Another day of knocking out things for the kids. Kelce was quick to explain that his parents' wedding anniversary was not overlooked out of neglect. I'm sure my father probably did something, 'cause he's always been very good at making sure we celebrate our mother when it's Mother's Day and all that. He still to this day will text, like, hey, it's your mom's birthday coming up. Don't forget about it, Kelce said. But at the same time, I never saw the romance of it all. A lot of friends I grew up with shared that. The handful of my friends whose parents are still together and still thriving, those are situations I would love to have. Not that I think my parents dealt with it the wrong way or anything like that, it's more so, if we're gonna start this and do it, why not try and do it to last forever? Not just in a, it's just for the kids aspect. Travis Kelce's full interview with CQ magazine. In a dimly lit dining room in Miami, a waiter places a course of hamachi crudo in front of Travis Kelce. We don't get fresh fish like this in Kansas City, Kelce says. We are sitting in a horseshoe-shaped booth, and Kelce's voice can just be heard over that of the young woman on the restaurant stage, covering Sada's The Sweetest Taboo and other Quiet Storm standards. Kelce did not encounter fish like this, raw, finely sliced, opalescent, growing up in Cleveland Heights, Ohio, either. Red Lobster was the nice spot for us to go to as a kid. We used to go there, see the lobsters in the tank like we were at an aquarium. We put on pants for that shit. Kelce is here, in the swank, lean protein-enriched people capital of the world, not just because it is a comfortable off-season home for a 35-year-old multimillionaire. Kelce is here in South Florida to get back to his roots, to reunite with Fort Lauderdale-based speed and agility coach Tony Villani. Villani trained Kelce for his NFL combine more than a decade ago and has worked with Kelce during the summers for most of his professional career. Kelce took a hiatus from Villani a few years ago, when the Kansas City Chiefs tight end moved his off-season operations to Los Angeles, near his burgeoning second career in film and television. Now, though, Kelce has come back east to regroup from last season's lopsided defeat in the Super Bowl. Win a Super Bowl is the only goal, Kelce says. It's the only goal. It's every goal. It's been nearly 4 months since that defeat, and Kelce is still hard on himself about it. I think it might have slipped a little bit because I did have a little bit more focus in trying to set myself up. And opportunities came up where I was excited to venture into a new world of acting and being an entertainer, he says. I don't say this as, I shouldn't have done it. I'm just saying that my work ethic is such that I have so much pride in how I do things that I never want the product to tail off, and I feel like these past 2 years haven't been to my standard. He adds, I just have such a motivation to show up this year for my guys. His past 24 hours have been ridiculous. Yesterday he woke up at 5 to drive to the Everglades for this story's photo shoot. He spent 12 hours trudging through swamps and cradling alligators and riding airboats. From there he drove to the airport to catch an evening flight to Kansas City for a children's hospital charity event that night. The next day, he drove to the airport, caught a flight back to Miami, and came right to dinner. At some point in this itinerary, Kelce got in a workout. And, after he's done with me, he's due to interview Shaquille O'Neal for an episode of New Heights, the podcast he co-hosts with his brother, former Philadelphia Eagles center Jason Kelce, which was licensed by Wondery last year in a deal reportedly worth $100 million. Beside the plate of hamachi is a cup of coffee, the only hint that he might be experiencing some fatigue.